One of the most important jobs that we have when we're working with a buyer is having the ability to get our offers accepted. Putting an offer in, hoping that we get accepted, hoping we get the ability to counter offer. These are all things that are a little bit out of our control, but there are some simple steps that you can take to ensure that your offer is going to be a lot more attractive when presenting it to a potential seller. So my very first step is this. Whenever I'm working with a buyer, we're sitting down at the table, we're going through all the price, everything they want to put on that offer. So before I present that offer, I make a quick phone call to the listing agent and I say something like this. Hey, look, we're about to present you with an offer. Just wanted to be clear, are there any terms and conditions that we could put into this offer that are going to be a lot more attractive to your seller? Is there any sort of restrictions around close date? Do they want a shorter close date, longer close date? Is there an earnest money requirement? What are the certain things that we could do that's going to make our offer a little bit more attractive on paper? Now, if they bring up price, say, hey, well, price is going to be part of that discussion, but I also want to make sure that all the terms and conditions are super clean so that the only thing that we do potentially have to negotiate is the final price at the end of it. And there's a lot of reasons why I do that. The number one reason is I also want to make sure that this listing agent understands that I'm going to be quite easy to work with, but also flexible enough to be able to negotiate. I want to make sure that this listing agent understands that I'm going to be in the negotiation process and not just written off because the offer wasn't high enough or it didn't sort of meet the required needs of the potential seller. The second thing I really want to know is I want to understand what their reviewing offer process is. So I'll ask them, what is your strategy around reviewing offers? Will you be reviewing offers as they come in, or are you going to be leaving it to a specific date to review all potential offers when they come in? This is quite common on a new listing. So it's just listed on the market today. A lot of people will review offers in a week, just once they've got a little bit of interest in the property. But if I know that information, I then have the ability to take it back to my buyer and say, look, your offer's on the table. The agent's got it. They will be reviewing all offers on Sunday. It's a week from the first open. That'll give them plenty of time to assess all the interest that they get in the property. This is just a great way to keep your buyer calm through that process. And I know I've had a lot of transactions in my time where we've presented an offer and it's taken days for the listing agent to get back to us. The buyer gets frustrated, they lose interest, they feel like they're being disrespected, they move on. Information solves a lot of problems. Go get that information from the listing agent and then revert that back to your buyer. At least that way they know exactly what situation they're in, when to expect some feedback, and how to go about that process of waiting to purchase their new home. The third thing, which I think is the most critical thing, is you need to know what tools you have in your toolbox to be able to negotiate. So if you do get a counter offer, knowing what you can do or what you can use to actually leverage and make your offer a lot more attractive, because sometimes it's not just price. Now, I know price is such a critical component of buying and selling homes. However, terms and conditions can be the make or break of most transactions. If you've got really long finance terms, or you've got a really long inspection term, or you've got really low earnest money, these are things that are going to be red flags to a seller. And so I want to be really clear with my buyer, what is their flexibility with things like this? Do they have the potential to close sooner? Do they have the potential to have a longer close period? Are they in a position where they could put a larger earnest money down so that this would make it more attractive and seem a lot more secure to the seller? Because that's one of the biggest frustrations I think a lot of sellers have, is they're looking at an offer based on the surety of it closing. It's not always price. Sometimes it's a little bit of a challenge. Also in this market right now, if somebody's borrowing money, they're putting a really high offer in, will it have the ability to close on the appraisal? Do you have an appraisal gap? So there's a lot of different tools that we can use, that we can put in a counter offer that potentially doesn't mean we have to come up to the counter offer price, but we can make it monetary attractive by some of the things we add to the terms and conditions. So making sure you know what you have in your toolbox to work with. This is why a buyer consultation is so important. This is also another great way of showing what tremendous value you have as a realtor by going through all of these steps with your buyer. Really great tip I'll give you outside of this is this should be part of your buyer consultation process. Talk through the steps of what you do when you're negotiating an offer. It's really going to get them to understand exactly what your true value is. So those 3 simple steps are a great way to ensure that you're going to get a lot more offers considered, have the ability to negotiate, and close a lot more transactions. These are all wonderful tips that we constantly share with our Club Sell Well members, making sure that we're all armed with the right tools, knowing exactly what we need and how we can do the best job we possibly can to show our true value so that our clients stick with us and they keep referring us to more clients as time goes on. So I really hope you got some great value from it, and I will see you again real soon.